Okay, so let's finish up season 2. Hold on. Come on, let's go. Of The Wolf on Campus with the season finale. She will rock you. In this episode, sorry, I should mention this. You hear squeaking? Is a couch. That's all it is. So, in this episode, is a new girl in school, Melissa Gorgonopoulos. Another one of those one-time characters you never see again, but there's a good reason for that. Merton has a thing for her, but she's not interested. She says she doesn't, like, he's not her type. And then it turns out that she's actually Medusa, a Gorgon that's hundreds and thousands of years old. And when she finds out Tommy's a werewolf, she wants him. You can imagine it's not, it's not a good thing. But a bit of a twist happens in this episode because Merton is spurred by her. So, and when Laurie goes to console him in his lair, they end up kissing. This happens just about after the time that Tommy finds out that Melissa is Medusa. And so when he happens to be right there when they kiss, although I think the whole thing is blown way out of proportion because he acts like like they planned this out, like it was a big betrayal, like it was, like they did it on purpose. Like, because they kiss and then they pan out and he's standing there. So I'm assuming he'd been there for at least a few seconds before he would know. I mean, I don't know. See, what happened was, like I said, she was consoling him because he had his heart broken and it just happened. But he acts like it's a total betrayal when neither of them meant to do it. It's very confusing. Like, Merton tries to explain it to him and he's like, he explains it to him and he's like, wait, not good enough? No. I'm like, how is it not good enough? He explained to you what happened. It's just so he can stretch out the hatred for the rest of the episode, for what happens at the end of the episode. The cliffhanger, if you will. After he sees them kiss, he runs into Melissa again, and Melissa says, Tommy, I want to be with you because I'm a Gorgon and you're a werewolf and I don't date normal people. And so he's like, well, as I just figured, I'm not over Laurie yet, so it's not going to happen. But if you know Greek mythology, you know that Medusa was very, very jealous. And so, of course, she goes after Laurie. And even Dina's watching Malcolm in the Middle when they're trying to talk. So they go in the kitchen. And that's when he explains everything. And so he's like, oh, we got to go save Laurie. And he's trying to talk him into, forgiving him, but he's not into it, like, at all. And so eventually they do find Laurie. On their way to find her, Merton has this speech where it's like, you and I were men of action, and if something should happen to you in this fight, without you forgiving me, well, he's like, let's find Laurie first and we'll talk about it later. And so they get there, and like it's just some random, I don't know, corners. Maybe they find a hungry bucket. I don't know. But, Melissa wants to take Laurie out, turn her into stone. And so he's like, we're men of action, right? Let's do this. And so Merton reveals that, of course, you find a mirror. Perseus used a mirror to, he talks about Clash the Titans. And so he says, Perseus used a mirror to turn Medusa to stone. So they use a mirror. He gets Merton's rearview mirror from his hearse to do it, but she kicks it out of his hand. And Okay, Merton says, don't look at her when you fight. There are several times you can tell they're staring right at her. And even there are times where she lasers something that they're holding, uh, like she lasers this tree down in front of Lori, like the branch of a tree down in front of Lori. Lori's looking right at her. And then later, when Tommy's trying to punch her, he punches through this, what do you call it, trellis, and she turns that to stone, but like he was looking right at her when she did it, so he technically turned to stone too, right? It's a bunch of hullabaloo. We see Merton write something down on a piece of paper and crumple it up, and then Tommy is stuck in the trellis. He's about to turn to stone. Merton gives the piece of paper to Lori, who puts it in her pocket right away, and then he jumps in front of Tommy. And then Lori and Tommy work together to turn Medusa to stone. And I thought she burst into pieces, but I guess not. But they find that Merton is turned to stone. That's the cliffhanger. Merton's turned to stone. They end in the lair. They put a snake around him, and they say, we'll find a way to get you out of there. And it ends. It ends. They did set this up, though, because that crumpled piece of paper he hands to Lori is a setup for the next season, I will say. But, yes, so that's why I wanted to cover this after, because of the cliffhanger. But also, I don't know, the clip show Kiss of Death was out of continuity with the entire season, or sort of in continuity, but it's sort of in its own little bottle. But with Merton being in that episode, and I'm just talking about this one, where it's like he's turned into stone. Imagine how confusing it was for a young Scotty, who had just watched Merton be turned to stone, and the next week be like, okay, how is Merton going to get out of stone? And you start with, I used to own this Hamlet. What? Huh? It's weird how that would. It confused me. It confused Scotty because I thought he was in stone. What's going on? Okay, maybe it's next week, and they started playing reruns. I'm like, because it was on Saturday mornings on ABC Family at the time, so I was just like, what? I didn't get the concept of season finales, season premieres, and all that stuff. Same year, Boy Meets World ended. And I didn't understand the concept of a series finale either. So I thought, okay, next week we're going to New York, and then it was something else. I don't know if it was reruns or a different show, but I was very confused. And so, yes, little Scotty had to wait a few months before I got the answer. I kept checking every Saturday to see if the new stuff. By this point, we had, I think, by 2000, I think we had the guides, but I kept waiting every Saturday to, eventually they did. But it was Scotty's first cliffhanger. I admit it. This was Scotty's first cliffhanger, and I couldn't wait to find out what happened. And at season 3, I don't hate season 3, but it gets bonkers right away when we get to the first episode. I mean, it is. Think it was something foam. You're finally going to know what that means when we get to season 3, but unless you've already seen it. But yeah, it's just, yeah, but this is a good episode. I think it's not one of my favorites, but it sticks in my mind because of the fact it was the first cliffhanger that I saw. So Scotty's first cliffhanger, so I think. But yeah. But with that, we have reached the end. Season 2. Now I don't know. I'm not gonna put out any promises of when I'm gonna start season 3, because I really don't know. WWE 2K23 comes out tomorrow from when I'm recording this, when this goes on the channel, and so I really don't know when I'm gonna start recording stuff again. You're still gonna get my March of the Living Dead videos. Those are still up on the channel. Those are still going up on Wednesday and Friday. Other than that, Those are pre-recorded, by the way. Other than that, no new content, really. I'm going to be playing the game, trying to unlock stuff, because you have to unlock stuff, because the Supercharger doesn't unlock everything, but it should. You know, each man knows. Yeah, I do want to do a My Rise series, but I'm still not 100% sure if I want to. But I kind of want to, you know, because I want to do some actual content with the game modes. Can't do the showcase because I decided to use actual match footage. That how are people supposed to give new content with that, right? But My Rise seems a viable thing. And of course, my GM will be coming back. I'll be doing something like that. But like I said, no tentative return date on when I'm gonna do season 3. I just want to kind of play the game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So whenever I get to that, I'll get to it, and I'll see.